welcome. If you've been wondering about Day One, we have a real treat for you today. This life-changing idea is the brainchild of Mark Seaforth. It's a culmination of his 38 years of experience as a leader and pioneer in the home-based business industry. Now, when I first heard about Day One, I was a bit skeptical, but after learning more, I had a real aha moment. I know many of you may be having the same feelings. You wonder, how is it possible to not only create wealth, but also help others? I know a lot of times you may be thinking, I wish I could just give. But ladies and gentlemen, before I get any more into it, I'd like to introduce the founder of Day One, Mr. Mark Seaforth. Mark, thank you so much for being here. It's a real treat. Now, Mark, the big question is why? Why Day One? Why start something new when you could be off sailing around the world with your family?
Well, you know, the truth is I could do that. And I've done that a lot of times in my life. But this was something that I had a real passion for. And it goes back a long ways. But 2 years ago, I launched this company called 124. And it was a business designed around showing people how they could build a retirement income over a 2-year period. And it's done very, very well, and we've shown a lot of people how to do that. But the one component that was missing was the charity side, because I've always been a big believer in charities, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the program here. But I've just always been a big believer in charities, and that part was missing. And so I felt like that this was something I've always wanted to do, that I have a real passion for. And at my age, you finally decide you got to do things that count a little bit more than for yourself. So here we are. We're launching Day One. And we've got this tremendous charity side that we're going to be talking about.
Well, I think you've never looked younger, Mark, if you ask me. But
it's the makeup. That's okay.
But what is it that excites you the most about the charity aspect?
Well, early in life, I found that anytime I gave, it just seemed to always come back to me many times. I even mentioned that in our overview video. But I just kind of, it's one of the things as I progressed in life, I realized the more you give, the more it seems to come back. And I've watched people that give in life. And people that give in life are the happiest people you're ever going to meet. They are. They just naturally are happy people. And so I felt like if I could actually show people what I've learned in my life through a very simple concept that allows people to give. And for a lot of people, I said, well, I can't give right now because, I'm just not financially capable. Well, guess what? You can. I don't care if you're given a penny of what you earn. Everybody can give. And so the whole concept behind Day One is to show people how you can start giving. And it'll continue to progress and progress till one day you're going to be giving a lot and you're going to be making a big difference in other people's lives.
Now, okay, let's say I join Day One.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of companies ask you to donate to their specific foundation, but with Day One, they bring out the charity in you. So can you walk me through this process? How does it work for those who join Day One?
Okay. Well, everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people have a charity that they really support. It's very important to them and it's something they'd like to give to. So with Day One, what we've done, which is very unique, when you actually enroll, all you've got to do is you click on a little button and it tells you all the charities that are qualified, to receive, charitable donations. And as a company, what we do is if you agree to give 1%, we match that 1%. If you give 5%, we match that 5%. If you give 10% to that charity, we match 10%. So, for example, let's say you were getting a $1,000 check from Day One and you're giving $100. Well, then as a company, we're going to give $100. And what's great about this is, and this is what's going to be so impacting, is that as people start to get involved with this, whether it be through their churches or their own charitable organizations, people are going to look and say, wait a minute, this company is matching what you're giving, and yet when people get involved, they're involved with our particular charity, get involved as a consumer for charity, they're giving, and we're getting money from those people, and the people that they get involved are giving, and all of a sudden we've got this massive amount of people all giving to charities all across the land, and we're going to make a difference. We're going to make a huge difference. And I know how much charities struggle a lot of times, in trying to get funding. It's just not there, and they're always trying to figure out how can I do this. So we've come up with the simplest way in the world: just make everybody a consumer for charity, and it'll take its own course.
Mark, what was it that inspired you to create this program?
But one of the things that was always inside of me is I always wanted to do something that was, charity-based. And so I've been working on this for a long, long time. And so I finally decided, you know what? It's so special. It's something that the world needs to see this concept. So I just felt like I had to take, from just a concept and make it real. So we started putting Day One together. And now we're launching something that I think is going to, impact not only the people that get involved from what's going to happen to them personally, but I think it's going to impact so many charities all across the land.
So let's fast forward 5 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see Day One, and what kind of impact do you think it would have had?
In 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
I believe Day One can be global. I really do. I think it's going to grow so fast here because it makes so much sense. And people are going to engage with this because, it's a simple concept of being a consumer for charity. And that's all you really have to share with anybody is, look, I'm a consumer for charity. You can do the same thing. And guess what? When you do that, you're going to be rewarded financially, but you're going to help all these charities. I mean, can you imagine the amount of money that Day One can raise and that the people that are involved in this can contribute to their charities? And so it's a concept that we can take not only here in the United States, but we can take it worldwide. So in 5 years, I see this company being global and continuing to expand.
So at the end of the day, Mark, when it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered?
Well, I hope as a good guy, for one, but hopefully I've made some sort of a difference in people's lives, because to go through life and not to do that would be really a shame, not only for me, but for everybody. And I just hope that maybe Day One will be a vehicle where everybody will experience some of the great joys I've had in my life. And so if I can be remembered as somebody that made a little bit of a difference, I'm okay with that.
Thank you so much, Mark, for sharing your story and for helping us be just a little bit more inspired. And I think with Day One, it's really going to be a ripple effect, as you said, globally to everyone that not only wants to sustain themselves, but really give back at the same time. So thank you for that. And it almost reminds me of that age-old adage of, if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, but if you teach him how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. So I think you've not only kind of provided the fish, but also the fishing rod in this aspect. So thank you so much. And to find out more, go to mydayone.com.
Thank you.